U.S. intelligence agency, mind control.
Did you know the government may soon be able to shut down your car?
The new law.
Yet. They're getting pizza.
It's too late. We've already started. Pizza better be quick.
Requiring car manufacturers to install anti-drunk driving tech.
You may not have heard about that.
I hate
because
this.
when reporters covered the last infrastructure bill,
President Biden's biggest domestic accomplishment.
Yeah.
there was little mention of an item buried in the bill that includes a requirement that every new American car now must have a device to passively monitor performance of a driver, see if he may be impaired.
I completely and utterly disagree with this being implemented by the government. This is insane.
And then limit vehicle operation.
It almost sounds like the domain of science fiction.
Congressman Thomas Massey objected.
A kill switch in.
I'm more worried about smoking because nobody is able to accurately measure someone's impairment while
melting. Both you are just
smoking
melting.
weed. So it's like, you know, they say that you shouldn't use THC and drive, but I just don't see a way that you can measure it accurately, and it's all dependent on the person. So it's almost impossible to legislate.
You mean to tell me that John Stossel is lying?
Vehicles that would be the judge, the jury, and the executioner on such a fundamental right.
But most of Congress went along, even though regulators haven't decided how the kill switch might work.
Will this have cameras inside the car?
It's going to be great when people figure out how to bypass it.
Will it monitor your eyes?
Relax, says USA Today. There's no kill switch at Biden's bill.
They didn't read it because it's there.
Automotive engineer and former vintage race car driver Lauren Fix points out the problem with USA Today's so-called fact check. The newspaper admits the law requires new cars to have technology that identifies if a driver is impaired and prevents vehicle operation. Apparently, USA Today just didn't like the term kill switch. But it is a kill switch. And groups like Mothers Against Drunk Driving want that.
MAD points to Europe, where drunk driving detect.
Why the fuck is it always groups that are mothers against something, which are just the worst?
Something tells me John Stossel lying.
Maybe, but it's always groups like this.
I bet you this is like about specifically self-driving shit.
What do you mean?
Like they're new cars, right?
Okay.
So self-driving, and then it's like it needs to know that somebody's at the wheel. Well, that person also needs to not be impaired. People get impaired, and then they think the computer can just drive for them. It happens all the time. So that's what I bet it actually is. And John Stossel is deliberately being misleading.
That could be very likely what it is. There could be more context to it inside the bill, and people are just cherry picking this one part of it.
Action is already in use.
If behavior doesn't improve, an emergency stop is activated.
How many lives are going to have to be lost before we can say, all right, let's put this technology in?
It would save lives.
It's about control. Let's be honest, because once you give that up, you have no more freedom.
How do you appeal your conviction when you're sitting at the side of the road with a car that won't run? Who knows where, stranded?
This computer decides you can't drive your vehicle. That's great.
Computer.
Unless someone's having a heart attack, you're trying to get to the hospital, your mother needs your help.
The kill switch is just one of several government plans to control how we drive. Some California lawmakers want every new car to have a speed governor.
Basically prevents it from going over 10 miles an hour over that speed limit.
Good idea, said federal regulators. Let's take it nationwide. But not being able to speed up can be dangerous too.
You have to avoid an accident. There's something coming at you. You have to make an adjustment.
You can adjust, says the CNN report.
If you press this button, you can accelerate beyond the speed limit for 15 seconds.
You can press this button, it'll let you go faster.
For 15 seconds. But what if you're trying to
find the button?
Right, while you're under stress for whatever situation.
Also, the new safety device will require our cars to spy on us. I didn't realize that our cars already do.
Nissan, for example, says they can collect information about your sexual activity.
Some cars now aim video cameras at passengers. Some listen to passengers. Some intercept your text messages. What do they do with that data?
76% sell it.
Yep.
And 56%.
Money. Capitalism. So John Stossel hates capitalism. Got it.
Say they will share your personal information without a court order.
It's
I just
capitalism.
bought a new car. Nobody told me that this thing was in there.
Oh, it's there. Because when you go to buy a new car, you get that really long document that's all digital. Who reads that? The small
Oh
print
my God.
says, we're collecting your data.
You signed
know
your
everything you're doing
you're
in your
gonna get
car.
the human Sentai pad.
So what about in the instance that they signed this agreement and then you sell that car? I never signed that agreement. Is that now unconstitutional breach of the Fourth Amendment by that company? That's the search and seizure one, right? Is that a breach of the Constitution now because I didn't sign that document on this purchase of a secondhand car?
I'm reading this, so
What do you reckon?
I'm reading. I'm not listening.
Great.
I tried to tell you multiple times.
And now the administration wants more spying to collect more money. Biden's infrastructure bill includes a plan for a tax based on how far you drive.
You would be taxed a certain amount for each mile.
I think that shows a lot of promise.
A mileage charge seems fair. You're paying for your damage to the road.
Correct.
But when your car tells the government what you do,
I thought taxes went to fix the roads, and that's what pays for the roads. Why do you need a mileage tax? Seems like something Australia would do.
You eat, where you go, how long you're there.
it makes it easier for politicians to control you.
When you start allowing them to do this, they could say, we don't want you going to buy a firearm. We don't want you to go to that destination. So we're not going to let you start a car.
Okay,
The
so
truth is,
all it
it's about
says,
control.
What do you mean it's about control? They're not.
all it says
Mm.
is that it doesn't say anything that they're putting this in or that it's even mandated. They
Okay.
just part of the infrastructure bill, they granted basically like the highway safety, whatever committee, whatever. They said you have 3 years to decide what devices you think are appropriate to implement. And then after that, car companies have 3 years to implement those things. They never said that it would be a kill switch or anything like that. There's just suggestions on things that could be used. And it never sends the data to law enforcement, it says.
Okay.
I don't really see
Not
the
control.
point of that. You know, like
Yeah.
what does it do?
It's kind of pointless.
Like me?
Well, they can. Where do you get a bill for your carbon footprint? You know, you're at your
You should.
maximum for carbon credits. We're not going to let you drive your car today. You can take the train. You can take the electric bus.
This is paranoia.
Maybe. But so far, everything that I said about these things, each step keeps coming through. Look what they did to the truckers in Canada.
When Canadian truckers
Oh my God.
protested COVID mandates, Canada's government cut them off from their money.
If your truck is
Yeah,
being used
and that was
in
illegal.
these protests, your corporate accounts will be frozen.
You can't get your money out of your account. They can do anything they want when they have your data. So when you think that it sounds so great that they have it for your protection, the truth is it's about control.
So far, our government hasn't used its new technology to control us, but politicians have passed laws to start the process.
They never reverse these rules. They just keep building on them.
She's right
Okay.
about that.
Sure. What else did she say? I want to know more.
Have you seen the video about people reacting to the drunk driving law?
No.
Because it's like a town customary where it's you can have one on the way home.
Oh, that's
You want
hilarious.
to see that
Yeah.
footage?
No, I haven't, but that sounds great, and I probably agree with them. Let people have a beer on the way home from work. You fucking monsters.
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir? Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say? This secret study portrays as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests. He's an uncertain ally, Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?